Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam khataman nabiyyin wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yes, welcome to episode 12 of this mini series, Hajj, the call of Abraham. And we're doing it from a comparative perspective, the Hajj in the Bible and in the Quran. And we were yesterday, last episode, talking about the pilgrims who are now in Mina, the big day, the day of sacrifice. And remember, the day before at Arafat was called the day of Hajj, and this is the day of sacrifice. The Yom Nahar is the day of Eid. And just to let you know that we are doing this as a comparative basis, and that Islam believes this is what the Hajj shows us, that humanity is one family, regardless of which, whether we are the Abrahamic branch or whether we are from the tribes and the nations of the world. It doesn't matter. Humanity is one family. And the Hajj, when we go through the Hajj and the pilgrims who are moving through all these places with that ihram on them, this is a proof that they are one ummah. The Quran says, "Wa ilahukum ilahu wahid." Your Lord is one Lord, and this ummah, this Muslim fraternity, the global Muslim community is one united community, one ummah. Whatever color, whatever language, whatever nationality, whatever status, rich, poor, it doesn't matter. We are one ummah. And you see this, the Hajj symbolizes this unity, everyone moving in unison in the same direction. Well, we are talking about the animal sacrifice. We spoke last episode of the verses of the Quran. Let's take a Bible verse. Does the Bible ask or command animal sacrifice? Is there animal sacrifice in the Bible? Well, look at the book of Ezekiel. Look at this slide, chapter 42, verse 13, and look what it is said. Then said he to me, the north chambers and the south chambers, which are before the separate places, they be holy chambers, where the priests that approach to the Lord shall eat the most holy things. There shall they lay the most holy things, and the meat offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering, for the place is holy. What is the meat offering? It's the animal sacrifice. They offer the animal as a sacrifice, you see. So this is the animal sacrifice. The Bible is full. If you read the whole Testament, there are so many verses. Because this is a mini series, we have just 10 minutes short talks. The Bible speaks about burnt offerings. The Israelites used to offer this burnt offering. They call it. They go to the temple, and then outside the temple was where they do the offering. They do the slaughter, and the water flows down in the stream, and then they burn it. They actually brine the meat, sort of. It's called a burnt offering, and then they offer that as an animal sacrifice. So animal sacrifice was very strong among the Israelites. It was a strong tradition. Not only that, if you look at the last 3 lines of this verse, there are different kinds of animal sacrifice. This is quite interesting. The Muslims will understand this. They'll be surprised. And well, the Christians, they don't highlight this thing. I don't see any Christian or any Jew doing animal sacrifice these days. They have abandoned the practice. They have abandoned the Hajj. They're no more doing even animal sacrifice. Now look what it says here. They have a meat offering. So let's use the word offering to mean sacrifice. There was a sacrifice for the meat. They sacrifice the meat. A sin sacrifice. They offer the animal as a sin sacrifice. And then for trespassing, for breaking some law or some rule, they call it a trespassing offering. Or you cut an animal, you sacrifice an animal for some wrong that you may have done. And for the place is holy. Now, there are 3 different kinds of qurbani. There are 3 different kinds of animal sacrifice. Now, for the Muslim, I'm sure the Muslim is going to find this interesting. Isn't it? We have something called akika. We have one kind of an animal sacrifice, which we call akika. We still slaughter an animal, but it's for the son 2, and for a daughter 1. When so that everything must go right with them to take away any ill fortune that may be coming their way. That's called akika. This for Hajj, what we do, the animal sacrifice of Abraham, that is called udhiya or qurbani. That is in lieu of what Abraham did, and that is also we get. But we also have a thing called dam. Those of you who go for Hajj and those of you who are at pilgrimage, Isn't it that you find that sometimes you may have made some mistake, trespass on the Hajj, something you were not supposed to do and you did it unintentionally or whatever? You have to offer an animal sacrifice in compensation for that. So it's called the trespass offering. Imagine, it's in the Bible. The dam is in the Bible. And lastly, in Islam, there is what we call sadaqah. Sometimes, somebody is sick in the family and we're going through some bad patch. So we offer an animal sacrifice as a way of expiation that God Almighty must remove this illness or remove whatever bad omen is coming our way in lieu of this animal sacrifice. So here, animal sacrifice is in the Bible as well. Unfortunately, it's no more done among Jews and Christians. Yes, there are traditional African religions still do the animal sacrifice because it was even a tradition in their culture, in their religion. You find in Surah Hajj, chapter 22, verse 36, the sacrificial animals we have made for you as among the symbols of God. Remember, we told you the animal itself is a symbol, is a sha'airillah. In them is much good for you. Then pronounce the name of God over them as you line them up for sacrifice. And when they are down on their sides, then, after you have slaughtered them, you can eat some of the meat and you can feed the poor and the hungry, and those who are begging, give it to the needy. Thus have we made the animals subject to you that you may be grateful. So another good thing about Islam is not only that Islam think of oneself, we don't think for ourselves. From that meat, give the poor, give the needy, give the hungry. Now you can well imagine we've got to give credit to the Saudi government during this pilgrimage, and people are busy in Hajj. They don't have time. Many people, the animal is just left there because they still, you remember, they still got to go and shave the hair. They still got to, there's the animals that, look at how many animals. They don't have time to do all that. So what the Saudi government does, they have canning factories. They have professional abattoirs right there in Mina, the muassasa. And then the animal is slaughtered, cut, sliced, and put it into a can and taken to poor countries so the meat doesn't go to waste. So that's really something good. After the animal sacrifice, they clip the hair. There you see the people, you can either shave the hair out or you just clip a bit of your hair out. Even the ladies, they just take a little bit of the hair and clip it out. And then they can come out of the ihram, and then they have to go to Mecca. From there. Look at how busy. We're still on the 10th. We are still on the 10th of Dhul Hijjah. Look at the crowd. You have to go to Mecca to do the tawaf between Safa and Marwa. Then you go 7 times around. Then you got to go between Safa and Marwa, between the 2 mountains, after you're doing the tawaf. And then you're going to come back to Mina before the sunset. So an extremely, extremely busy day, for the Hujjaj on the 10th. The 10th is the most strenuous day in the life of the pilgrim, and most probably the most strenuous day in the life of a Muslim, because you are basically stretched to the limits emotionally, spiritually, physically, and in every other way because of how many things to do on the day. And bearing in mind, you've got to contend with the Meccan heat, especially right now, the Hajj right now, as we are in mid-winter here in the southern hemisphere, but in Mecca right now, it is midsummer, 45, 50 degrees Celsius, and so it is hot. And this is, they come back after they do all these things, they come back to Mina and they rest for the next 2 days, because the next day, the 11th and the 12th, all that they do is to go and stone the 3 jamarats, the 3 symbols. Because remember, the first day, they only did the first one. So if we show you that slide again, what they do is they will come back on the next day. They have a rest, and you will never sleep like how you slept that night on the 10th night back in Mina. Many people actually reach, after, just before Fajr. In fact, you are up the whole night. You were up the whole night in Muzdalifah. How could you sleep in the open sky? No mattress, no hotel room. The sky is your canopy and the earth is your bed. And then now you did all that, you hardly slept. The next day was such a strenuous day, and then you have a good rest. In the next 2 days, you stone the symbols of Satan. Well, take our details as you see on our screen. You can write to us for these slides. For details, we have a free pamphlet on Hajj in the Bible, compliments of Ifri. You can have it. We will email it to you. And so we'll meet again tomorrow, same time, same place, after 8 o'clock, to continue with this episode, Hajj, the call of Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.